now just one day away from a Bank of Canada announcement. Many homeowners or prospective buyers will be watching really closely. An interest rate could be coming. We don't know by how much, but it's important because over the next year and a half, 44% of Canadian mortgages will be up for renewal, leaving many in this country worried about what steps to take. So to help make things easier, CTV News has spoken to dozens of brokers across the country, compiling an in-depth look at what people should keep in mind when it comes to mortgages and the options out there. Here to start us off and break it down is CTV's Tony Grace. He's been studying like a mad person going over all this stuff. So, Tony, good morning to you. Is there a best type of mortgage right now to have?
So much data, Marcia, and you know, you really put it in perspective when you said 44% of mortgage holders, because that's 2 million people who will have decisions to make in the months to come. So yes, that's one of the questions we took to mortgage brokers first was, you know, is there a better option, fixed versus variable? So let's get to those numbers right off the bat and find out what those mortgage brokers told us. 59% of them, Marcia, said that a fixed rate, a shorter term, I should add, a shorter term fixed rate mortgage was the best solution. Only 7% thought that going with a variable rate right now was smart. And about a third, and here's the caveat, it always depends on your situation. You know, how much do you have left to pay off? What's your amortization like? What's your current interest rate like? But the trend we noticed was that by and large, a majority thought fixed rate was the way to go right now. But what's the best rate you can get right now? Let's switch to that board. This was interesting. I didn't think there were any fixed rates out there in the low fours right now, but we did hear 4.34%. That was the lowest we heard for fixed, and the lowest we heard for variable was 5.95. And of course, if you're watching this in the weeks to come, you know, banks tend to move in lockstep with the Bank of Canada. So if we do get that quarter-point percentage cut tomorrow that many economists are predicting, you can see those go down by a quarter percentage point immediately, Marcia.
So that will beg the question for many, should they get out of their variable mortgage?
Right. And we took that question to the mortgage brokers as well. Let's find out what they told us. So by and large, and this wasn't as overwhelming, but half of them, 49%, said no. You shouldn't get out of your variable rate mortgage. Only 19% said yes. I guess the thinking there is that you'd be in for an immediate quarter of a point drop if your bank or your lender moved in lockstep with the Bank of Canada for that expected rate cut. And again, Marcia, a third saying that it really depends on your financial situation. The next slide speaks to the amortization period. You know, should I opt for a longer amortization period? 8% said no. 57% said yes. They said, lock in, you know, something that you think is comfortable, because, you know, there's another wild card here, Marcia, and that is that nobody really knows how low interest rates are going to go or how long they're going to stay there. We're just on this verge of a high degree of anticipation that a cut is coming.
Okay, so then the other question that people have is whether or not they can trust the banks for mortgage renewal advice.
And you always have to consider that everybody is making money who's selling you a mortgage, whether it's a mortgage broker or a big bank. But here is what we were told. Can I trust a bank? 51% of the mortgage brokers said no. 29% said yes. One of them, Marcia, told us banks are in the business of making money, and it's unusual that the bank would give its lowest possible offer at renewal for the first time every time. So that was the calculus there. Maybe not as surprising since this was a poll of mortgage brokers, but nonetheless, those were the answers. And almost a third of them said, yes, you can trust the bank. Of course, there's that fine print to consider as well in terms of, are they giving you the best? Are they moving as far as they can go for you?
Wow.
That's a lot of data.
Yeah, it really is.
I know.
Okay, Tony, we're going to have you back throughout the morning as we continue to look at the results of our survey. We really appreciate you starting us off. You've already given us a ton to think about as we look ahead to tomorrow. Thanks so much, Tony. We'll check in with you in a bit.
Okay.